With a good day to you, my friend. Lots to get to in these recordings, but I'm curious how the White House is responding to all of it.
Well, certainly this is not the kind of news the White House would want on the eve of the president's convention, because, of course, there has been a lot of focus and attention on the president's agenda, and this undercuts the president at a very personal level. First, that it's his older sister, Maryanne Trump Barry, who had been a federal judge, now retired. And, of course, the nature of some of the things that she's been saying go right at some of the arguments the president's most fierce critics make about him in terms of principles, in terms of truthfulness, in terms of his own personal agenda. So in those ways, it's very cutting. The response from the White House has been to focus on the fact that this is a secret recording made by the president's niece, who wrote the book that they have been fighting against earlier this year, and that it was done without the knowledge of the president's sister. We heard from the White House chief of staff, who appeared on the Sunday shows today, and he sort of recounted the president's own words, which is, here's another crisis, and he described this as being something coming from a political point of view from the president's niece, who has been very outspoken because she's the one who did the recording. Here's Mark Meadows on how he described this today.
What I find interesting is any family member that would secretly tape 15 hours of a conversation with somebody, obviously to promote an agenda. She's been very vocal in her support for Joe Biden. This is really a sad day. A number of the accusations that are being made, I've been able to witness up close and personal, and they're just not true. The president is not only well prepared, but reads so much that it causes me to have to read many times well into the night to catch up with him.
So he's addressing there some of the comments of Maryanne Trump Barry, who said that her brother doesn't read, he's not prepared, her criticisms of him. And the tape recordings were made by, the audio recordings were made by Mary Trump, who's the author of this book, done in 2018, 2019. And she says that she did it in part because she believed that family members like her aunt and uncles had been lying about their disagreement over the family estate. She had to sue for her portion of that. She is a granddaughter of Fred Trump, the president's father, and her father, Fred Trump, the younger, passed away. And so there was the family drama over the estate and the wealth of the Trump family. So there's a lot of issues here, and certainly it makes for an unpleasant portrait of the president that he is dismissing, saying, in his own words, in a statement from the White House under the president's name, that he's still focused on the death of his brother, Robert Trump, who died a week ago and was memorialized here at the White House with a service on Friday. The president saying he's focused on that and focused on the country and doesn't address his sister directly at all.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.